There are moments in life when you've whispered your desires in silence, hoping the wind might carry them to the heavens. You've prayed under your breath, tears hidden from the world, your heart aching with longing. Nights when you stared at the ceiling, asking God if He had heard you at all. Days when the weight of waiting felt heavier than the hope you were holding on to. But now, something has shifted. The air feels different. The ground beneath your feet seems to hum with an energy you can't explain. And deep inside, there's a whisper, faint but certain, your wish is granted, and very soon you are about to see it. You might not see the evidence yet. To the natural eye, everything may appear unchanged. But in the unseen realm, a decision has already been made in your favor. God's hands are moving, arranging circumstances, opening doors you didn't even know existed. The heavens have signed a decree over your life, and it bears your name. It wasn't easy to get here. You've been through storms that almost drowned you. You've faced battles that left scars no one else can see. There were moments you wanted to give up entirely. But something kept you standing, something unseen, yet stronger than every force that tried to break you. That something was not just your own willpower, it was divine protection. It was the presence of Archangel Michael standing guard when darkness tried to overtake you. It was God Himself whispering, "Hold on, my child. I am not finished with you." You see, when God says yes, no force in heaven, earth, or hell can overturn it. You may have thought your blessing was delayed, but in truth, it was being prepared. Like a gift wrapped carefully, every layer folded with intention, your breakthrough was being crafted in the unseen, waiting for the perfect moment. And now, that moment is closer than you think. It will happen suddenly. One day, you'll wake up expecting an ordinary day, but heaven will have other plans. That email you've been hoping for, that phone call that changes everything, that opportunity you thought had passed you by, it will arrive, unannounced, unstoppable. This is not wishful thinking. This is divine timing. And when God's timing arrives, it will feel like a flood, not a trickle. Blessings will pour into your life faster than you can process them. People will look at you and wonder how everything changed so quickly. But you will know. It wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was the hand of God. Archangel Michael has fought battles you never saw. He stood between you and destruction. He shielded you when the enemy tried to plant fear in your heart. And now, that same angel stands beside you, sword drawn, watching as the blessing you prayed for finally steps into your reality. Your wish is not just granted, it's sealed, delivered, and on its way to you. So I tell you, prepare your heart. This is the season you've been waiting for. And when it arrives, give thanks, because you will know, without a doubt, that God heard every whisper, saw every tear, and never forgot you for a single moment. If you believe this is your moment, type Amen in the comments, like this video, and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of what God has prepared for you. There is something about the way God works that baffles human understanding. We expect Him to answer our prayers in a straight line, simple, predictable, logical. But heaven does not operate on human logic. God moves in patterns, layers, and divine strategy. And sometimes, what feels like delay, is actually a carefully planned positioning. You see, before your wish could be granted, certain pieces had to move in place. Some people had to leave your life. Some relationships had to dissolve. Some opportunities had to pass you by, because they were never part of God's true blessing for you. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. The truth is, you were not ready back then. If God had handed you this blessing too soon, you might not have been able to carry it. You needed to be strengthened. You needed to learn trust. You needed to go through the fire so the gold in you could be refined. And so, God let you walk through nights where you questioned everything. He allowed doors to close so you would learn that He is the ultimate door. He permitted storms so you would discover that He is the peace in the middle of them. Archangel Michael has been beside you in all of it. When the enemy whispered lies into your mind, telling you it would never happen, that you were forgotten, that your prayers had no power, Michael was there, cutting through the darkness with the sword of truth. His presence was not for comfort alone, but for warfare. Because make no mistake, the moment you prayed that prayer, the battle began. The enemy doesn't fight you for where you are, he fights you for where you're going. And he knew, if your wish was granted, it would change everything. So he tried to block it. He tried to discourage you. He tried to send you distractions wrapped as blessings, hoping you'd settle for less than what God promised. But here you are. Still standing. Still waiting. Still believing. And because you didn't give up, something has shifted in the heavens. Picture this: in the throne room of God, there is a table where scrolls are laid out, each scroll bearing the requests of His children. Yours has been before Him for a long time. And now, He has picked it up, broken the seal, and with His own hand, He has signed yes. The moment that yes left His throne, angels began to move. Archangel Michael took his place at the front, ensuring that nothing and no one could stop what was coming toward you. Other angels moved ahead, preparing the path, making sure that when your blessing arrives, there will be no obstacle too great for you to overcome. Right now, forces you cannot see are working in your favor. People you have never met are speaking your name in rooms you've never been in. Doors you didn't knock on are unlocking. Phone calls are being prepared. Contracts are being written. Healing is being released. It is closer than you think. And when it happens, it won't trickle in slowly, it will flood in like a river breaking through a dam. You will stand there, overwhelmed, realizing that all the years of waiting were not wasted. They were building something inside you that could only be formed in the waiting. So do not doubt what you feel stirring in your spirit right now. This is not imagination, it is confirmation. Your wish is granted. And very soon, you are about to hold in your hands what you once thought was impossible. If this word speaks to your spirit, type Amen in the comments, like this video, and subscribe so you can receive the rest of this message as it unfolds. Sometimes, before the full blessing arrives, there are small signs, whispers from heaven letting you know it's on the way. They might seem insignificant to others, but to you, they stir something deep inside. You might notice a sudden peace in your heart, even though nothing in your circumstances has changed. You might wake up with a strange sense of expectation, as if you're waiting for someone to knock on your door. Or you might hear certain words, over and over again, in conversations, songs, or even passing strangers, words that confirm what you've been praying for. These are not coincidences. They are gentle hints from God. It's His way of saying, pay attention. I'm near. At first, you may wonder if you're imagining it. But then, things begin to align in ways you can't explain. That person you thought had forgotten you suddenly reaches out. A closed opportunity reopens without warning. You receive a message that feels too perfectly timed to be chance. Archangel Michael is closer than ever now. You may not see him, but the atmosphere around you feels guarded, as if an unseen presence is walking with you everywhere you go. You might even notice that situations which once drained you now hold no power over your spirit. It's because he is fighting off attacks before they can even reach you. And slowly, the evidence begins to show. The financial struggle starts to ease. The relationship you thought was broken beyond repair begins to heal. Your health begins to strengthen. A job, a project, or a dream suddenly gets the push it needs to move forward. You realize, this isn't random. This is the beginning of the manifestation. But there's something even deeper happening, something in you is changing. The fear that once kept you frozen is melting away. The doubt that used to cloud your prayers is fading. You're beginning to believe again, not just with your mind, but with your whole heart. And that is exactly where God wanted you. Because blessings are not just about what you receive, they are about who you become in the process. He's been shaping you into the kind of person who can carry the weight of the gift He's about to place in your hands. So if you've been noticing these little shifts, don't ignore them. They are the early signs that the dam is about to break. Your wish has been released from heaven, and it's moving toward you faster than you realize. The moment it arrives, it will feel like stepping into a new chapter of your life where the pain of the past will no longer define you. You will stand in awe, saying, "This can only be God." If you can feel in your spirit that this is already beginning for you, type Amen in the comments, like this video, and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this divine message. It happens when you least expect it. You wake up thinking it will be an ordinary day, the same routine, the same streets, the same faces. But there is something in the air that feels different. The sunlight seems warmer, the silence seems calmer, and your heart feels strangely steady, as though it already knows something your mind has yet to discover. Then, without warning, it begins. A message arrives, a phone call, a letter, a knock on the door. And in that moment, time feels as if it slows. You stare at the words, or listen to the voice on the other end, and you know instantly, this is it. The thing you prayed for. The thing you cried over. The thing you thought might never happen. It's here. It's not a dream, it's reality unfolding before your very eyes. Maybe it's the opportunity that changes your career forever. Maybe it's the healing report you've been waiting to hear. Maybe it's the restoration of something you thought was lost forever. Whatever it is, it comes with such precision, such perfect timing, that you can't deny it's the work of God's own hand. And as you stand there, stunned, you begin to feel it, a presence surrounding you. You might not see him, but you know. Archangel Michael is there. The one who stood by you in the battle is now standing with you in the victory. His sword, once raised against the enemy, now rests at his side, because the fight for this blessing has been won. Tears come easily now, but they are different from the tears you've shed before. These are tears of release, of joy, of gratitude so deep it feels as if your soul itself is bowing in thanks. You begin to remember the nights when you begged God not to let you go. The mornings when you almost didn't have the strength to rise. The seasons when your faith felt like it was hanging by a single thread. And now, here you are. Standing in the very place you once only dreamed of. You realize something else, too. It wasn't just the blessing you received. It was the you that God was creating in the waiting. Stronger. Wiser. More compassionate. More aware of His voice and His ways. And in that moment, gratitude overflows. Because now you understand, the wait wasn't punishment. The battles weren't pointless. The pain wasn't wasted. It was all preparation. This is why the timing is perfect. This is why nothing and no one could stop it. And this is why, deep down, you now know, your wish being granted is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new one. So lift your head. Hold it high. Because you are stepping into a season where the very hand of God is visible in your life. And as you walk forward, Archangel Michael continues to guard your path, ensuring that this blessing will not be stolen, diminished, or delayed again. If this part of the message has touched your heart, type Amen in the comments, like this video, and subscribe so you can follow the next chapter of this unfolding miracle. When God moves, He doesn't just give you enough, He gives you more than enough. And when your wish is granted, it rarely stops at the single thing you prayed for. Heaven doesn't work in half measures. Once the floodgates open, blessings begin to spill into areas of your life you didn't even think to pray about. You start to notice it first in small ripples. One answered prayer creates space for another. One breakthrough opens a door for the next. And before you know it, the single yes from God begins to multiply. The financial blessing you received? It leads to opportunities you never imagined. The healing you experienced? It allows you to help someone else find their own. The restored relationship? It becomes a testimony for others who thought all hope was gone. It's as if the hand of God has touched every corner of your life. And in these moments, you realize something powerful. God was not only granting your wish, He was rewriting your story. What once read like chapters of loss, pain, and delay now flows with words of restoration, favor, and divine purpose. But make no mistake, blessings come with their own kind of battle. The enemy will try to plant seeds of fear. What if this doesn't last? What if it's taken away? What if you're not ready? That's why Archangel Michael remains at your side. The same warrior who fought for your blessing now fights to protect it. His presence is a constant reminder that what God gives, no force of darkness can take away. You also begin to notice the changes inside you. Where there was once hesitation, there is now boldness. Where there was once fear, there is now faith. Where there was once exhaustion, there is now fresh strength. And that's when it hits you. This isn't just about what you've received, it's about what you've become. Your voice carries more authority now, because it speaks from a place of victory. Your prayers are stronger, because they're fueled by gratitude. Your walk is lighter, because you're no longer carrying the weight of wondering if God will do it. You've seen with your own eyes that He already has. And yet, this is still only the beginning. The God who has given you this blessing has more in store. He has plans for you that go beyond your imagination, and He is already setting the stage for the next chapter. So lift your hands, speak your gratitude, and walk with confidence, because you are living proof that when heaven says yes, it cannot be undone. If this speaks to your spirit, type Amen in the comments, like this video, and subscribe so you won't miss the next part of this powerful message. There comes a moment, a quiet, breathtaking moment, when you finally see the full picture. All the pieces you thought were random, all the seasons you thought were wasted, they suddenly fit together with perfect clarity. And in that instant, you understand why God made you wait. You see, if it had come sooner, you wouldn't have been ready. If it had arrived earlier, you might have clung to it out of fear instead of walking in it with confidence. If you had skipped the valley, you wouldn't appreciate the mountaintop. Now you see, the waiting wasn't empty. It was holy ground. Every tear watered the seed of your blessing. Every prayer laid another stone on the path toward your miracle. Every setback was God's way of redirecting you toward something greater than you dared to imagine. And now, standing here, your life feels almost unrecognizable compared to the person you were before. You remember the days when you questioned if God even heard you. Now, you know He not only heard you, He was working on the answer the entire time. You remember when the silence felt unbearable. Now, you understand that silence was God's way of speaking the loudest, because He was speaking through His actions, not just His words. And in that moment, your gratitude overflows. You can't help but lift your hands, whisper His name, and let the tears fall freely, tears of joy, of relief, of awe. But as you stand there, you feel it again, the unmistakable presence of Archangel Michael. He isn't just watching, he's smiling. His mission in this chapter is complete. He fought the battles you never saw, blocked the attacks you never knew about, and guarded the promise until it could rest safely in your hands. This is the beauty of God's plan. He never sends you into a battle alone, and He never delivers a blessing unprotected. Now, you walk forward with a new kind of confidence. Not arrogance, but assurance, the deep knowing that if God did this, He can do anything. You've seen His faithfulness firsthand, and it has changed the way you live, the way you think, and the way you pray. And perhaps the most beautiful part of all is this: your story will inspire someone else who is still waiting. They will look at you and see hope. They will hear your testimony and realize their own yes is on the way. And in that way, your blessing becomes a seed for someone else's miracle. Your wish has been granted, but God isn't done. This is the start of something far greater, a season of overflow, favor, and divine appointments that will continue to unfold in ways you cannot yet see. So keep your eyes open. Stay close to Him. Walk with the same faith that brought you here. Because with God, this is never the end. It's always the beginning of more. If this message has touched your heart, type Amen in the comments, like this video, and subscribe so you can witness the final part of this journey. This is where the story settles into something unshakable. You've seen the prayer answered. You've felt the weight of the waiting lift off your shoulders. You've tasted the goodness of God in a way that words can barely capture. And yet, even now, heaven leans closer to whisper something into your spirit. This is not just a blessing, this is a beginning. Because the God who answers prayers doesn't simply stop when the wish is granted. He is a God of abundance, of overflow, of exceedingly and abundantly more than you could ask or imagine. What He has placed in your hands now is only the seed for a much greater harvest. You will see it in the days to come. Doors will open that you didn't even know existed. Connections will be made that feel divinely orchestrated. Opportunities will chase you down, not because you're lucky, but because you're walking in God's appointed season. And everywhere you go, the presence of Archangel Michael remains with you, not just as a protector, but as a reminder that your life is watched over, guarded, and guided by the hand of heaven itself. There will be moments ahead when the old fears try to creep back in, when doubt whispers, "What if it doesn't last?" But in those moments, you will remember this season. You will remember how God turned silence into song, how He took a closed door and made it a gateway, how He lifted you out of the waiting and set you on solid ground. You will speak with boldness now. Your prayers will carry power because they come from a place of proven faith. You will stand in rooms you once thought were too great for you and realize, you belong here, not because of your own strength, but because God Himself placed you here. And your story will ripple outward. Someone will hear it and find the strength to keep going. Someone will see you and be reminded that God's timing is perfect. Someone will be saved from giving up because they watched you refuse to. So here is the final word for you today: walk forward knowing that heaven has already gone ahead of you. Live as someone whose wish has been granted, whose prayers have been heard, whose name has been written into God's plan. And expect, yes, expect, that this is only the beginning of miracles to come. Your life is no longer defined by what you were waiting for, it is now defined by what you are walking in. And what you are walking in is divine favor. So hold your head high. Step boldly. And never forget the journey that brought you here, because it is proof that when God says, yes, the entire universe aligns to make it so. Your wish is granted. Your time is now. And very soon, you are going to see even greater things than these. If you receive this prophetic word, type Amen in the comments, like this video, and subscribe so you can stay connected to every message God has for your life. When God gives you what you prayed for, it's never just about you. At first, you think the blessing is a personal gift, something meant to fill your heart, meet your need, or answer your cry. But as you begin to live in it, you realize it carries a purpose far greater than you imagined. You begin to see how your answered prayer is linked to someone else's breakthrough. A word you speak now carries more weight because you've lived the very testimony you're telling. Your smile carries more light because you've walked through darkness and found your way out. And people notice. They may not understand what changed in you, but they can feel it. There's a calm in your voice, a quiet confidence in your steps, and a glow in your spirit that speaks louder than words. But with this new season comes a new kind of responsibility. God didn't bless you just so you could hide your light, He gave it to you so you could shine it into the lives of others. You are no longer only a receiver of grace, you are now a carrier of it. Archangel Michael knows this, and his role has shifted. He is still your protector, but now he also goes before you as you step into assignments you never thought you'd be given. His sword, once used to defend you from unseen attacks, is now used to clear the path for the work God has placed in your hands. And in these moments, you begin to sense a new stirring, a fresh wish forming in your heart. Not the desperate wish of someone waiting in the dark, but the bold wish of someone who knows what it means to be heard by heaven. This is the beauty of walking with God. Every blessing is an invitation to dream again. If you believe God is calling you into an even greater purpose after this blessing, type Amen in the comments, like this video, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. When a blessing from God takes root in your life, it does not stay contained. It grows. It spreads. It touches places you didn't even know needed healing. At first, you see the obvious changes, the answered prayer standing before you, the relief washing over your heart, the tangible shift in your circumstances. But then, something deeper begins to happen, and it is here, in this stage, that you realize the blessing is far greater than the original wish. Your relationships start to change. Those who once doubted you begin to respect you. Those who once overlooked you begin to see your value. And some, those whose hearts were never for you, quietly fade away. Not because you pushed them out, but because the light now shining in you exposes what was hidden all along. Your perspective changes too. What used to worry you no longer has the same power. What used to drain your energy now barely touches your peace. And where there was once fear about the future, there is now a steady confidence that no matter what comes, God will be there ahead of you. It is in this season that you truly understand, the blessing wasn't just an answer to your prayer, it was a transformation of your entire life. And as your life changes, something remarkable begins to happen, your blessing becomes a channel. You start speaking life into others without even realizing it. A conversation in passing leaves someone encouraged. A simple act of kindness becomes the exact answer someone else was praying for. Your story begins to ripple out like waves on water, touching shores you will never see. Archangel Michael remains by your side through all of this. But now, his watch is not only over you, but over those connected to you through your testimony. When you pray for someone else, it's not just words, there is power backing them, because heaven knows you have walked through the fire and remained faithful. And yet, with the blessing multiplying, there is also an increase in spiritual resistance. You may notice moments where unexpected challenges arise, not to steal what God has given, but to test the foundation you've built in Him. This is where you draw on every lesson from the waiting season, every battle you survived, every night you refused to give up. You remember the storms. You remember the loneliness. You remember the silent nights when your only company was prayer. And you realize, those moments weren't just survival. They were training. Now, you stand as someone who cannot be shaken easily. The blessing is beautiful, yes, but the strength you've gained is priceless. And here is the part that will take your breath away, the blessing continues to grow. Financial provision leads to new opportunities. Healing in your body opens doors to new experiences. Restored relationships create new legacies. And through it all, your connection with God deepens until you begin to hear His whispers more clearly than ever before. You realize your wish being granted was never the end of the story. It was the opening chapter of a much bigger book, one that God Himself is still writing, day by day. And now, a new prayer forms. It is no longer desperate. It is not born out of fear. It is a prayer of partnership. Lord, use me. Let this blessing not end with me. Let it flow through me to everyone you choose. That's when heaven smiles again. Because God's greatest joy is not only giving to you, it is giving through you. If this part of the message has reached deep into your spirit, type Amen in the comments, like this video, and subscribe so you can hear the next chapter of this unfolding journey. The wind outside had grown still, almost unnaturally so, as if the world was holding its breath. You sat in the quiet, feeling the weight of the moment pressing against your chest. This was no ordinary silence, it was the kind that feels alive, as though it carries a secret waiting to be revealed. And deep within, you knew, this was the moment you had been sensing, the moment all those signs had been pointing toward. For days, weeks, maybe even months, you had been praying, waiting, believing. Sometimes your faith had wavered, sometimes you questioned if you had been forgotten, if your words had been lost in the noise of the world. But then, there were the little reminders. The unexpected kindness from a stranger. The way a particular verse or message seemed to arrive exactly when your spirit was tired. The sudden calm that would wash over you in the middle of chaos. And now, you felt it more strongly than ever, your wish is about to be granted. But here's the thing, it wasn't just a wish. It was a deep cry of your soul. Something you've whispered in the dark when no one else could hear. Something you've carried in the secret chambers of your heart. God heard it. Heaven recorded it. And Archangel Michael has been standing guard over that prayer, making sure no force in this world or beyond could steal it away from you. The air in the room shifted, not physically, but spiritually. You could sense a presence. Not to frighten you, but to reassure you. It was the kind of presence that makes your heart beat a little slower, your shoulders relax, your mind clear. And in that sacred stillness, you knew, heaven is in motion for you right now. You see, when God moves, it's not always with loud thunder and lightning. Sometimes it's in the quiet arrangements, the subtle alignments, the opening of doors you didn't even know existed. Sometimes He moves through the very things you thought were setbacks, turning them into the stepping stones toward your breakthrough. Archangel Michael has been standing in front of you in the unseen, sword drawn, keeping away the battles you never even had to fight because they were already won for you. If only you could see what you've been spared from, you would realize how protected you have been all along. And now, the time for waiting is ending. God is about to place in your hands something you've been yearning for, but it's coming in a way you didn't expect. You thought it would arrive small, manageable, perhaps even ordinary. But no, when God gives, He gives abundantly. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not just about receiving what you asked for, it's about being transformed in the process. You will not be the same person who started this journey. You will walk into the next season with wisdom carved into your soul, strength you didn't know you possessed, and a light in your spirit that no darkness can dim. So hold steady. The silence right now is not emptiness, it's preparation. The stillness is not delay, it's alignment. Heaven's clock is striking your appointed hour. Your wish is not just being answered, it is being delivered with more than you asked, faster than you imagined, and with blessings attached that you didn't even pray for. You might not be able to see the full picture yet, but in a matter of days, perhaps even hours, the shift will be undeniable. People will wonder how it happened for you so suddenly. They will call it luck, but you will know the truth. This was divine timing, and it had nothing to do with chance. So lift your head, straighten your shoulders, and prepare your heart. Speak life over your future. Thank God in advance. Because your wish is not in limbo anymore, it is in your atmosphere, circling closer, about to be placed right into your hands. And when it happens, when you finally hold the evidence of your answered prayer, remember this: it was not just granted because you asked, but because heaven chose to favor you. If you believe your wish is truly on its way, type Amen in the comments, share this message with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more words that lift your spirit and strengthen your faith. You may think you've been walking through the darkness alone. You may believe that no one has truly understood the weight you've carried, the nights you've cried quietly so no one would hear, and the silent battles you've fought with yourself. But I tell you now, not a single tear of yours has been wasted. Every step you took, every obstacle you faced, and every delay you endured, was part of a design greater than your human mind can fully grasp. There is a shift taking place in the unseen realm right now. Heaven's counsel has spoken. The pages of your story that once seemed filled with pain are being rewritten with blessings that will leave you breathless. God has been preparing a table for you in the presence of those who doubted you, and Archangel Michael has been standing guard, ensuring that nothing meant to destroy you will succeed. You have been asking for a sign. You've whispered prayers in the stillness of the night, unsure if they were even heard. But heaven's response has been in motion from the moment your heart cried out. You may not see the evidence yet, but that is only because the miracle is still in the wrapping stage. Just like a seed hidden underground, your breakthrough has been growing in silence. And now, the soil is beginning to break. Every setback was actually a setup. Every no you faced was a divine redirection to something far greater. You thought you were being delayed, but in truth, you were being positioned. There's a place you're about to step into where you will see how all the pain connected like puzzle pieces to create a beautiful picture. God is not only answering your prayer, He is multiplying the blessing so it overflows into every area of your life. The very thing you thought was impossible will happen so naturally, you'll know it could only be the hand of the divine. Archangel Michael is not just fighting for you, he is leading you into territory you never thought you could claim. He's pushing back the shadows, breaking the chains, and clearing the path so that when your blessing arrives, there will be no obstacle to stop it. Remember this: your waiting season was not wasted time. It was preparation. And when this blessing arrives, and it is already on its way, it will be so sudden, so perfectly timed, and so much bigger than your original wish, you will realize that God not only heard you, He exceeded you. Stay in expectation. Keep your heart open. Speak your faith aloud. Your wish is not just granted, it is being delivered in a way that will leave you in awe. If you believe this is for you, type Amen in the comments, share this message to inspire someone else, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more words that uplift your spirit. The night had a strange stillness. It wasn't silence, no, there was the whisper of the wind brushing against the leaves, the occasional hum of the earth settling, but beneath it all, there was something different. It felt as though creation itself had paused, as if heaven was leaning in to listen. You had been restless all day, feeling that pull in your chest, that something was coming. Your spirit couldn't explain it, but your soul already knew. Somewhere deep inside, you felt the weight of a shift, an unseen door about to open, a prayer about to be answered, a promise finally stepping into the light. You closed your eyes for a moment, and in that stillness, you whispered, "God, if this is really you, then give me a sign tonight." And in that exact moment, the air changed. It was almost like the atmosphere in the room thickened, as if you were no longer alone. Your heart began to beat slower, not out of fear, but out of awe. A presence so powerful, so pure, filled the space that it almost brought tears to your eyes. And then, in the stillness, you heard it, not with your ears, but with your soul. Your wish is granted, but not in the way you think. You have asked for a blessing, and I have given you more than that. I have given you what will last, not what will fade. You opened your eyes, but nothing in the room had moved, except your spirit. It was then you realized, it wasn't about the wish itself, it was about who you were becoming in the waiting. And then, a soft light appeared in the corner of the room. It wasn't the harsh glare of a lamp, nor the flicker of a candle, it was something unearthly, a glow that seemed alive. From that light stepped a figure, tall, majestic, and radiant beyond words. It was Archangel Michael. His presence was strength itself, the kind that didn't need to prove anything, the kind that stood silently, knowing it could not be shaken. His eyes met yours, and there was a depth there that saw everything, your pain, your doubts, your faith, your tears. "You have been heard," he said, his voice like the sound of distant thunder wrapped in calm. "God's timing is perfect. What you think is delay has been protection. What you thought was silence has been preparation. And now you are closer than you have ever been." Your chest felt like it might burst, with relief, with gratitude, with an understanding you had been chasing for so long. "But you must understand this," Archangel Michael continued, stepping closer, "the answer you are about to receive will not just bless you, it will change everything around you. There is a ripple effect in heaven's plan. Your wish is not just about you, it is about everyone your life will touch after it comes to pass.